Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." But what if some of the unconscious forces Jung warned about, especially in women, are far darker, more manipulative, and more dangerous than society is ready to admit? This isn't about hate. This isn't about blame. This is about understanding. This is about truth. Because Carl Jung didn't just uncover the psyche. He stared into the abyss, and he brought back warnings most men still ignore today. Let's dive deep. 1. Jung's worldview, the psychic map of the soul. To understand Jung's warning about some women, we first have to understand how Jung saw the human psyche. Unlike Freud, who emphasized base desires, Jung believed every individual has two central opposing forces within: the conscious ego and the unconscious shadow. According to Jung, everyone, man or woman, is driven by an archetypal battle. The man wrestles with the anima, the feminine side of his psyche. The woman battles the animus, the masculine side of hers. But here's where it gets dark. When this balance is not maintained, when the anima or animus is repressed, denied, or corrupted, Jung believed the human psyche could become twisted, projecting its unresolved unconscious pain onto others. In women, Jung believed this corrupted animus could turn them into verbal tyrants, moral crusaders, or emotional manipulators, projecting chaos and confusion onto those closest to them. Let that sink in. 2. The Dark Animus, woman as controller, not creator. In his writings, Jung observed that when a woman has not integrated her animus, she doesn't become strong and independent. She becomes destructive and invasive. Here's a direct quote. When the animus possesses a woman, she becomes opinionated, argumentative, and dictatorial. Why does this happen? Because instead of using her inner masculine to build or protect, she uses it to dominate. She becomes emotionally cold, morally righteous, and mentally aggressive. Jung compared this to a logician without logic, a woman who believes she knows the truth without evidence, who shames men with emotionally charged arguments, and who subtly erodes the masculine energy of those around her. This is the kind of woman Jung warned men about. Not the nurturing creator, but the unconscious destroyer. 3. Emotional possession, when women project their shadow onto men. Let's get personal. Every woman, like every man, has a shadow self, the hidden side of her psyche. According to Jung, when a woman doesn't face her own insecurities, her suppressed pain, or her unresolved trauma, she begins to project it outward. Men become the cause of her unhappiness. Masculine energy becomes the enemy. This is when the manipulation begins. It's not intentional. It's unconscious. She'll accuse you of being emotionally unavailable. Not because you are, but because she is terrified of vulnerability. She'll call you controlling, while she subtly controls your decisions through guilt, shame, and disapproval. This is the psychological game Jung warned men to recognize. A woman not at peace with her own shadow will seek to control yours. 4. The feminine archetypes: saint, mother, witch, seductress. Jung broke down the feminine psyche into 4 core archetypes. 1. The innocent or saint pure, passive, seeking protection. 2. The mother, nurturing, giving, sacrificing. 3. The witch, manipulative, powerful, often feared. 4. The seductress, sensual, chaotic, alluring, unpredictable. These archetypes can evolve, overlap, or become imbalanced. Here's the truth Jung discovered. When a woman is unaware of her own archetypal identity, or switches roles to survive rather than grow. She becomes a fragmented identity. Today, this shows up as the hot and cold girlfriend. The woman who cries when she's criticized, but controls with silence when she's mad. The woman who nurtures you, then punishes you with sex withdrawal. Jung said, she becomes possessed by her archetype, a puppet of instincts and projections. When you don't understand this, she runs your mind. 5. The Dark Mother, the ultimate emotional prison. One of Jung's most disturbing insights was into the devouring mother. This is the woman who says she loves you while keeping you small. She praises your potential, but subtly undermines your confidence. She encourages your growth, but emotionally punishes your independence. Whether it's your partner or your mother, this is not love. This is possession. Jung saw this pattern as a common archetype in his patients, especially in men who felt trapped, guilty, or emotionally suffocated. The devouring mother creates sons who can't lead. She creates men who over-apologize. She creates men who need permission to be men. To break free, you must name the pattern. Jung believed naming the archetype brings it into the light. Until then, it rules your soul. 6. How society feeds the dark feminine. Jung would be horrified by what modern culture has done. In the name of empowerment, women are encouraged to suppress their anima integration and over-identify with power, dominance, and aggression. Jung believed true feminine power was spiritual, intuitive, and healing. Today, that's labeled as weak. Instead, we now see hyper-independence masking deep fear of intimacy. Sexual freedom masking emotional detachment. Righteous anger masking unprocessed grief and trauma. This isn't evolution. This is fragmentation. And many men are trapped in the web. When women suppress their deep inner wisdom, they become reactive, emotionally erratic, and psychically controlling, using sex, language, and guilt as tools. This is not who they are. It's what society has turned them into. 7. The spiritual battle. Not women versus men, but conscious versus unconscious. This isn't about blaming women. Jung never hated women. He loved them, but he saw the danger of the unconscious woman. The real battle isn't between genders. It's between consciousness and unconsciousness. A man unaware of the dark feminine is easily manipulated. A woman unaware of her own shadows becomes the manipulator. Jung taught that healing begins when we face what we fear: the rage, the need, the jealousy, the dependency. Only by confronting these dark parts do we become whole. For men, this means setting boundaries, practicing detachment, and recognizing projection. For women, it means embracing vulnerability, surrender, and authentic power. Only then can masculine and feminine dance in harmony, not war. 8. How to spot the dark feminine in action. If you're still not sure how this plays out in real life, here are the red flags Jung would have told you to watch. 1. She weaponizes language. You're never wrong. You're abusive, toxic, or narcissistic. 2. She controls through guilt. She doesn't say don't do that. She says, I guess I just don't matter to you. 3. She punishes with silence or sex. Love is conditional based on compliance. 4. She is shifting identities. Today she's a victim, tomorrow a seductress, next week a philosopher. You're always playing catch-up. 5. She projects. Her anxiety becomes your fault. Her anger is your aggression. Jung believed naming the darkness disempowers it. The moment you see these traits as unconscious patterns, you reclaim your mind. 9. The high-value woman, integrated, powerful, conscious. But not all is lost. There are women who do the work, who integrate their shadow, who heal their animus, who embody real feminine power. These women know their emotions, but don't use them to manipulate. Speak truth, but never shame. Set boundaries, but never dominate. Love deeply, but never lose themselves. Jung called this the integrated woman, the true queen. She doesn't need to control. She doesn't project her pain. She doesn't compete with men. She complements them. She's rare, but she's out there. And when a conscious man meets a conscious woman, that's when the kingdom is built. Carl Jung's dark truth about some women is not a judgment. It's a mirror for men to see the hidden forces that rule relationships. Most men lose themselves to try to please the wrong woman, but the real game is deeper. Master your mind, recognize projection, reclaim your masculine clarity, and never forget, a woman's power is real, but so is yours. Choose wisely. If this message opened your eyes, don't keep it to yourself. Like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more psychology, philosophy, and Stoic wisdom that cuts through the noise. Welcome to Stoic Mind and Body, where men rise by mastering the mind. Until next time, stay sharp, stay sovereign,